Welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. I'm super uncomfortable how I'm sitting. It's kind of weird. Anyway, this is Collective Convo, and we're going to talk about addiction today. I am someone who has an addictive personality. I don't really identify as an addict, but I've definitely had my fair share of addictions to work through. So you can identify how you want. I don't care. But I do think that this is a very important topic to talk about. It's been coming up a lot in why is this so? It's been coming up a lot in collective readings and collective energy right now. And that is why we are here to talk about it. I looked some shit up because I was just wondering. So I think we should start with the things I looked up and then I'll go over my things. Okay? Addiction is when you have a strong physical or psychological need or urge to do something or use something. All right. Now, what I thought was interesting was when I looked up ways to get over addiction, the very first thing that came up was help is available, 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. And I want to caution everyone about that. I understand that is the only really available resource in this country, and that is very new, like within the past few years. But that will get you a police response. So we know how police handle mental health crises and addiction response. That will be this. Calling this number will criminalize your experience more than likely. So I want to caution you on that. I also want to caution you on 12-step programs. If that works for you, awesome. I love that. 12-step program is a form of therapy which provides clients with a set of 12 clear steps towards addiction recovery. What is this guy's name? Bill what? What was his name? William? Who founded the 12-step program? Yeah, Bill Wilson. I knew it was a W and a B. And Dr. Bob Smith. Funded Alcohol Anonymous in 1935. And since then, there's been a lot left. Okay, the 12-step program was inspired by the Oxford group, a Christian group that Wilson was introduced by his friend. The Four Absolutes, a moral inventory of absolute honesty, purity, and unselfishness and love, and his own experiences. This man was a fucking predator to his wife. So, I want to caution you on 12-step programs. Again, if they work for you. When I was in Skid Row doing facilitating mental health groups, I started my own groups at a place that was predominantly 12-step programs. And what we did, and what we're going to talk about here, because this is the frame in which I do my work, is that oppressive systems breed addiction and the need for addiction, whatever the addiction is. Also want to say here, in addition to my own things that I've been through, I've lost friends to addiction. So I know how important of a conversation this is. And I know how it feels to absolutely need something, knowing that it's not for you. I just quit smoking nicotine in April of 2024. But man, I was on and off with nicotine for a good, I've never mentioned how long. Kind of embarrassed, but since college, the first time around. So a good 15 years I had an on and off relationship with nicotine. And in April I was like, you know what? I'm good. Mostly because of my health. So the very first time I quit smoking, I was pretty solid with it. That was in my early 20s, but then like I got swept up in some other shit, incarcerated and stuff, and yeah, started smoking again when I got out. Like I said, I've quit before and started again, and it was never continuous for 15 years, but it was something that I struggled with for that long. The first time I quit, though, my motivating factor, because that's the most important thing, is you need a motivating factor. If you're looking to quit, we are going to cover harm reduction here as well. I don't need you to quit. I don't need you to be abstaining from something. I trust you to do what you need to do. I don't know how you feel. I don't know what you're coping with, right? So I just want to acknowledge that, right? Addiction comes in many different forms. Retail therapy, eating, smoking, not just, oh my God, you're using illicit, illegal street drugs, right? Oh my God, you're addicted to porn. It's not just bad shit. It's a cycle of necessity that's trying to fill a void of something else. And when you understand the root cause of addiction as that, and understand the ways in which the system breeds these behaviors by poverty, lack of any sort of human rights, right? Like water, shelter, food. That's why in Skid Row, there is, if you don't know, Skid Row is the homeless capital of the nation. It's in Los Angeles. That's where I did my master's work, and then after my schooling, I facilitated groups and supported a lot of folks in these situations with mental health and with addiction. I myself was incarcerated in a dual diagnosis unit, which is what they call it when you have a mental illness and an addiction. I've shared that in other things, okay? All that to say is, when people are feeling disposed, when people are struggling to find clothing, shelter, food, water, the basic place to go to the bathroom, all right, those 5 things, that is the epitome of what people are experiencing in Skid Row, okay? And in other homeless encampments or, situations, right? There's a whole epidemic of people selling everything and moving into cars, right? Because this country breeds inaccessibility, unequal wealth distribution, violence, right? And then the cycle is this cyclical nature of you being in this revolving door of either incarceration or homelessness or addiction or unemployment, right? All of those things are these are things that are all systemically put against people, individuals. And then, may the odds ever be in your favor. So when people are escaping that, or if they have embedded trauma that they're escaping with these behaviors, and again, rich people who are housed have addictions too. It's not just homeless folks. That's just where I was facilitating these groups. And I think it's important when we think about systemically, right? The community resiliency group that I did in Skid Row was, everyone was going to these 12-step programs, and then they'd come to my group, and, in the 12-step programs, they would be like, you're the problem. You need to make amends. You need to forgive these people. You need to do this. You need to reach God. And they'd come to my group, and I'd be like, it's not you. It's the system. You're doing the best you can to navigate this shit. But hey, have you thought about how these things are affecting you? Maybe that's the reason, right? So anyway, I loved that space. I missed it. I miss it a lot. It was a really dope space. Tiny's here. Let's go over harm reduction quick. Harm reduction is an evidence-based approach that is critical to engaging with people who use drugs and equipping them with life-saving tools and information to create positive change in their lives and potentially save their lives. What's up? I'm busy right now, so I'm gonna step away because I don't want to get mad at you. But I need some space. I'm having a very important conversation right now. Do you want to go outside and play? I'm not going outside, but you can. So harm reduction is the acknowledgement that if you are going to use, do it safely. And a lot of organizations or mutual aid or street teams or whatnot provide, okay, I'll be out in a little bit, clean needles and, alcohol wipes and other things that other people need to participate. I don't want to go into the certain drugs or all of that. What I will say is that some things are more addictive than others. And again, it is a combination of mental, emotional, psychological, it's all of the things. I'm sorry. So it is usually stemming from, again, a space of lack, need, yeah. Let me share a little bit about did I ever finish? The first time I quit smoking, I'm sorry, I have such bad ADD, but I don't want to do drugs because I was addicted to Adderall back in the day. I'm not trying to, I just let my mind do what it wants. When I quit the first time, it was when I quit smoking cigarettes, I was like, dude, I'm not going to support these oppressors and I'm not going to pay to kill myself. So it was my deeply embedded need for justice that quit the first time. But again, that was just the first time. Like I said, I've been off and on with this shit for a long time. This time when I quit, it took years of emotional work to do because I was like, why am I still doing this? I know it's bad for me. I know my body is not healthy right now. I want to be alive to see my child grow up, but I still was not quitting. So I want you to know you're not dumb. You're not stupid. You're not lacking anything that it doesn't make sense because it is generally ruled by emotion, the need for a feeling, because there was a feeling that wasn't given when you were little. Most things can really go back to, oh fuck, I forgot I was making french fries. Oh god. Alright. Most things go back to childhood trauma, either subconsciously or consciously. Hey, now your fries are ready. You can call me Betty Cracker. Fries are so gross when they're cold. Niall, come eat your fry. Oh man, where was I? Oh yeah, most things can go back to, I don't know where to put you. Most things can go back to some sort of trauma at an earlier stage of life. Again, either systemically or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So when I realized in April, I was like, dude, I have to quit. I had to quit because of, I'm not really ready to share why, but I had to quit. So when I did, I've done emotion code. I've done like tons of different techniques of clearing energy blocks and emotional trauma from not just this lifetime, but lifetimes before. Here, do you want these fries? I don't really think we should waste these. Okay. I don't want these fries either. Anyway, when I finally, because I was conscious of the fact that I was doing it, which sometimes in addiction people aren't, right? Depends again on the substance, and the severity of the addiction. And I was like, why can't I quit? And I realized it was because it was my throat chakra. I had been encouraged to be quiet or silent my whole life. I was not just encouraged, I would be reprimanded if I spoke up. My family always wanted me to shut the fuck up. And I smoked because like, you guys can see this on my channel. I quit in April, and since April, I have been able to speak. But I had a huge throat chakra blockage. I think a lot of it was spiritual, but like very much based within my own trauma. So I don't know if this is helpful. I think the most important thing is, if you are addicted to something, be careful, right? I've dated people who were addicted to stuff. I think that was the only kind of people I dated were addicts. I don't know how. It's something that you're gonna have to do when you're ready. I think that's another thing, is like, no one can get you out of addiction except you. And I know that's not helpful. And I don't mean it in a 12-step program way, but I mean it in a, maybe look at how the system is utilizing you within your addiction to gain more power. I don't know. I mean, that was my motivating factor, was really like just anti-capitalist that first time. And then I like switched from cigarettes to like rolling my own tobacco, and did that for a really long time. But yeah, I've been addicted. I mean, I was addicted to Big Pharma, the pharmaceuticals that they put me on. I truly believe, though, like, once you get to a point of wanting to quit something or do better or release an addiction or addictive behavior, I'm so sorry. This kid is not happy that I'm talking to you. Niall's addicted to my energy, quite frankly, but that's because I'm the only one here. I'm just trying to use this as an example that doesn't need to be here. Anyway, nope, lost it. No, go outside, Dea. Go outside. Go outside. Niall always does this. He always locks Dea in here. I think recognizing that I don't want to call it a problem because that's what everyone calls it, but recognizing that you are utilizing something outside of moderation is the first step. But again, consciously knowing it doesn't mean you're ready to quit, right? If you need anyone to work with or walk with you or validate your experience, I'm here. I work on a sliding scale. We can barter. I don't care. I'm pretty much pro bono all the time anyway. I think I'm thinking of, what's her name? Is it Rebecca? I'm thinking of the woman in Skid Row that Soft White Underbelly interviews all the time, and she is, she's a trans woman, and she is heavily addicted to uppers, like meth. And being in Skid Row, I know what it's like in Skid Row. There's drugs everywhere. There's different blocks for different drugs. I wasn't involved in that, but I was down there, so I know what's there, and everything is there. Everything. So I'm thinking of her because she has so much support that Mark with Soft White, if he has a YouTube channel, if you don't know, he interviews people in Skid Row. And it's harsh. It's a harsh reality. And I think it's important for people to understand other people's experiences and what makes them the way they are. But that's just me. So anyway, is her name Rebecca? Anyway, she is, it's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of situation when she is on drugs or not. And Mark has done a really great job of documenting this, and he interviews her frequently. And he's tried to get her help, and he's done so many things to support her, but she can't let go of the addiction. And that's what I mean when I say you're the only one that can do this for you, regardless of how much or how little support you have. I know that's not helpful. but maybe it is the light bulb moment that you need from one addict to another. You can't expect anyone to get you out of this. It's something that you have to do for yourself. And if you are seeking love from some sort of substance or behavior, start by giving yourself that love without it. And if someone's never been loved, I understand why we use things systemically, interpersonally, right? But addiction is no fucking joke, and this society breeds addicts, again, because they benefit. Privatization of criminalization of these things. Not to mention just straight out warfare in order to get the poppies needed for opioids, right? Like out in the Middle East. America loves when people are addicted to things. They benefit capitalistically. They get capital gains from addiction, whatever it is. Yeah. Harm reduction is the way to go. If you're a peer or someone who has come out of addiction, highly recommend becoming a peer, like within certification, knowing how to administer Narcan to support people if they do overdose, especially because everything is getting laced with fentanyl nowadays. So if you are in active addiction with things that are harder, be careful. I mean, you already know that if you're in it, but just, I guess, hearing it from someone else might help. But like my friend who took themselves out, he couldn't get over opioids, and he had been clean for like 7 to 10 years, and then he started again and he overdosed. And from what I heard, it was a choice. The last one was a choice. And he's been coming through to me a lot lately. He's been DJing my music, and I think this is just a really important topic. You know, love yourself before it's too late for anyone else to love you. And I know it's easy to hear that, or easy for me to say that. It's not easy to hear. But as you heal yourself, as you start to figure out what is causing the root, like what's the root of this problem? Why am I doing this? Like I shared this last time I finally quit smoking. I was smoking because people wanted me to be quiet. I didn't want that for myself. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's just stop this. I did document my quitting smoking journey. If you want to watch that, if it helps, whatever addiction you are going through. Try to support yourself and not have judgment or shame. And I hope that this segment helps you with that, because I'm not trying to throw shade on you. I know that these are symptoms of the system in which we live. And I will die on that hill. All right. So I hope this was helpful. I want to give you a big hug. You're going to be all right. You are loved. I love you. And I understand. And if no one's ever told you that, I'm telling you that now. Whatever happened to you to make you feel like you need whatever it is that you need, you didn't deserve it. No one should have ever treated you that way, and no one should be treating you that way to make you continue to need that thing. And I hope that you can get through this. I'm running out of room. I love you so much. Have a good one.